So this is the flower bed in the corner of our yard that my wife lovingly plants with dahlias and tulips and daffodils and lilies, all kinds of things every year. And every year, as you can see here, this trail, our female Frenchie tramples everything down. So speak of the devil. And so I have been given the task of keeping the dogs out of the flower beds. So here's my solution. I went to the local metal yard and picked up 4 pieces of 24-inch, 3/4-inch square tube with an 063 wall. Now, this set me back about $38 a stick, which is kind of highway robbery right now, but at least it's not plywood, because plywood's even pricier per sheet. I did a little bit of napkin sketch math with my 10 fingers and 12 toes and figured out that for my arc I needed 7 foot 6 inches. So I went ahead and I'm gang cutting them with the Sawzall, and it seems to work fairly well, quickly, partially because it's the 063 wall stuff and not 1/8 or 1/4 inch. Well, that worked like a champ. I'll clean those up on the grinder just a little bit. For the arch portion of this build, I'm going to use my reliable swag tubing roller, the Hulk, and I know my DRO, I need it to go to 20.22. I've already done a test piece just to make sure, and I went ahead and put in the 3/4 inch square tubing die, and I centered it, of course, on the drive wheel as well. So we're ready to go. I cut some 6-inch blocks for spacers just to make sure that everything was spaced absolutely the same all the way down. Alright, before I welded it and finished it, I did this proof of concept. I just tacked it together for my wife just to show. Now there'll be a rock there, that sort of thing, and then I'm going to put some finials up on top. But yeah, I think that's going to work really well. Paint it black, fully weld, that sort of thing. The first fence is tacked together. Now, we decided to put a 4th row on the bottom, mostly because our male puppy ran through the bottom and was able to get through. And so we had a little bit of a rethunk, and I'm going to add this one, which means the next one also gets 4. So I went ahead and bent, rolled the radius for those 4. And in truth, I mean, it's kind of like I'm building a mask from RoboCop, or the helmet for Rutger Hauer's character in Lady Hawk, which I'm going to tell you back in the day was a badass movie. I have since seen it as an adult, not in the 1980s, and it's not as cool. The soundtrack especially is real wonky. I cut some tiny feet out of some 1.5 inch quarter that I had, so they're just 1.5 inch by 1.5 inch. Then I rounded them up and then put them on the belt sander and kind of easy edges and made it so it'd be fairly easy to weld in here. So if nothing else, this is an advertisement for you need more clamps. The adage of you never have enough clamps is 100% true. Clamped up and was in the flow, and then bam, I ran out of wire. It's okay, I've got a whole drawer full of wire. This is not my first rodeo of running out of wire in the middle of shit, so I have spare. Well, making lemon out of lemonade, the wire swap was great because I actually moved from flux core to MIG gas, so I'm happier with the welds. Second fit check complete and successful. The parts came from SendCutSend for the puppy fence. These are going to be bent up into lantern boxes, and we'll put tea lights in red glass lanterns inside of those on top of that. to make the whole puppy-proof cage for the flowers a real thing. All four corners welded up, and fairly happy with how that came out. Now, it would have been prettier with a TIG welder, but it would have taken twice as long. So I MIG'd them, and then after MIGing everything together, I went over to the belt grinder and cleaned them up just a little bit, as you can see here. Well, these got installed before they got painted and before I put the lanterns on. And after 8 months of hard yard duty protecting my wife's flowers from the monsters, it's time to finish it, because it's time to start looking forward to this spring and what's going to come up in these beds then. So let me go ahead and pull these out and get some lanterns done. After welding them onto a 1/2 inch, little bit of extra post, I went ahead and used a 2x4 spacer and then got all 8 of them welded in place. A little tack on the top to keep the cup from resting and rusting in there. Speaking of rust, I'm sure you can see that after sitting out for a few months unpainted and treated, the fences themselves, they got more than a little rust. So we're going to clean those up, and then I'll prime them and paint them, and I think they'll turn out nice. I really like how the lanterns turned out and can't wait to see them with the candle in it. Well, it looks like I didn't have to wait too long. I put them out, and as soon as the sun went down after I got through welding, and tried them out. And I think that this is going to be really nice. Now, there won't be a candle that burns in it all the time, but I really like this look.